Hey everybody, on this episode of the Riverdale After Show, we're breaking down Season 3, Episode 13, Chapter 48, Requiem for a Welterweight. In Riverdale's Thunderdome, 2 men enter and 2 men leave because it's not really that dangerous, but we'll break it all down next.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Riverdale After Show, breaking down every episode of Riverdale, airing Wednesday nights on the CW. I'm Frank Moran.
Hey guys, I'm Sam Davidson, and I have the live chat right here, so please keep on chatting.
Hi guys, I'm Elena Jordan.
Hi guys, I'm Zach Peter.
And as always, folks, like us on Facebook, give us 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and give it a thumbs up while you're there. And Sam mentioned the chats have been running, but if you're watching after we stream live, feel free to comment down below. But before we dive into everything, it's been 3 weeks since Riverdale. Have you guys survived?
Too many weeks.
I have survived.
Zach, you look like you're shaking almost.
I was like having Archie withdrawals. Although he did irritate me tonight though. It's just too much.
I thought you would like this. I mean,
No, don't get me wrong. I loved him watching him fight, but I hated that he had to be like so self-righteous and be like, I can't accept the money. I'm like, accept the $5,000 and like earn that check, honey.
All right, so we know where Zach's moral line is drawn. I like that. All right. So before we break down the episode in particular and find out about Zach's loose morals, let's find out what everybody else thought of the episode. Alana, what'd you think?
I really liked this one. I mean, I do always think it's funny when they have, these super intense things that these kids are having to take on. But they open the episode with like, you let her drink coffee? And I'm like, well, you let your son lead a gang. So, I mean, just shout out FP. Like, I don't know. But I thought this was a really good episode. I like the way it was structured. I like that it was kind of focused on all the gang rivalries, but that they still had kind of the intro with Jughead, like, don't forget, here's a recap of all the gangs that we have so that we're all up to date. I don't know. I liked it.
All right. Sam?
yeah, I felt like it was a good kind of building episode. Again, I hope that they keep with the story they're introducing to us and not just change it because some random writer decided to get their first episode, which I just feel like is happening a lot. And I don't know. I liked it, but I don't have faith because sometimes the next episode has nothing to do with the one prior to it. However, for this one, I'm with Zach. Archie, just stop. Like, stop agreeing to do stupid things. And then if you agree to do them, just, what do you need? More people chasing after you to want to kill you for a stupid reason just because you want to, you want to fight? I don't know. I didn't like it. I thought it was dumb. But yeah, he really looked fantastic. Really nice ab work for KJ.
He can like toss me in the ring any day.
Yeah, wow. And I'm just looking at Josie, looking at him, and I go,
Ugh.
I get it.
Gross.
Yes,
They have no chemistry together. Like, why are we trying to ship this relationship?
You think it's more grossy than Josie?
Yes.
What about you, Frank?
It was all right. I mean, Archie was just a dum-dum, so I look forward to just taking him down a couple notches during the course of this episode.
In his defense, he was punched in the head repeatedly, so I feel like anything that happens from this point forward, it's like, you do have head trauma.
He survived a bear mauling. He can take a few hits to the head.
I do like that the only reference to the bear that we've really had this season, though, is that one, like, super hot scratch, and it's like, don't forget I survived a bear. It's like, we did kind of forget, because you glanced right over that.
Again, something that they likely will not pick up on. That was a huge thing. We saw his eyes open, laying on a bed, essentially dead, and then all of a sudden he's fine, and there's just no explanation. So,
well, given that near-death experience, you would think that he'd be just
part of the farm.
Reborn and part of the farm, yeah.
But no, he's just reborn to the same old dum-dum Archie that
That's
we
what I'm like, let's step it up, farm. Send the bears after all the cult members.
There we go.
Is that
Be
the
like,
new
you
game?
survived the bear attack, and now you're in.
Yes.
You can ascend.
Well, we start this episode off with Gladys and Jellybean making themselves at home, kind of setting up shop there in Riverdale. We know their intentions are not so altruistic, though. Gladys looking for get paid. She wants to get paid.
She should join the ring. She'd earn $5,000 a night.
That's right. Then we've got Hiram back in action now. He's got out of the hospital. He wants to find out who's the one that destroyed all his stuff. And Veronica is always not wanting to say the truth to her father.
Sometimes I think that Veronica and Archie really are meant for each other because they just do the dumbest things. I mean, I just really wish that she would say goodbye to Daddy. I thought we were done with Daddy. I thought Veronica did not like her dad anymore. He is evil. He's gone. But now all of a sudden she's like, I want my family to be involved in drugs.
I mean, he's still her dad. And they have that whole meeting where it's like, do you trust her? And he's like, of course I trust my daughter. And you can tell he really does. So I feel like I don't blame Veronica for wanting to be like cool with her mom and dad. And
he tried to
have
kill
them
her
to
boyfriend.
Stop killing each other.
Do you think Hiram really trusts her, or is he just saying that?
He's just saying that. I don't think he really trusts her. I think when he said that, he had already known that there was a plot that Veronica and her mom had already put together while he was under. I don't think he's figured out the full plan yet, but I think he was playing a lot of games to try and get her to confess.
Because I think he loves her, but he doesn't trust her entirely. Because she's a lot. She raised her well. He knows that she will scam him. She tried to cook the books on him. He figured that out. So I feel like he always knows that if she says something, there's usually something else going on behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I do think one day it'll be like, listen, mija, I will go now. He'll be like, it's fine. You might have been a part of my death, but I'm proud of you, and I will see you in the afterlife. And then he'll peace out, and then that'll be their goodbye, and it'll be tragic. Their relationship, I don't understand. I'm assuming his near-death experience of being shot really brought the family together, because before that, she hated her father and wanted revenge on her dad. Now all of a sudden, she's like, no drugs for the fam. Just don't get it.
No drugs for the fam.
Well, I feel like, again, we had Hermione pop up really hot for like an episode. And now she seems like she's kind of being relegated back to the back seats
Shaking
now.
in her boots right now.
Such a tease.
In her Louboutins.
I was hoping to see a little bit more formidable bumping of the heads between Hiram and Hermione.
I feel
She's
like we'll
afraid of
probably see
him.
that later, though.
I hope so, because right now they make her look so timid. Like, they gave her a moment where they made her kind of look strong, but then they keep bringing her back to, like, this, I'm scared of my husband, and I just want to, like, save her. She looks like a shaking chihuahua, and I just want to, like, hold her, and I hate chihuahuas.
Well, what about the mistress, a.k.a. Kelly Ripa, Mark Consuelos' wife? Like, are we just not going to talk about what happened there? Are we just going to give Kelly a little...
We gave her a cameo, and she's done.
Yeah.
She came and collected her check.
What's the point? I mean, yeah, that's fun to have. Oh, and he had his son play the younger self of him. Cool, we got that. Check that off. We have Kelly just come on for no real purpose. I understand she's busy, and that's when I question. I was like,
She
she's
was
in
there
the
to
show?
rip a Jughead a new one.
I hope she comes back.
It's like Andy Cohen.
No
like,
one's
it's
gonna
a random
recognize that
cameo.
pun. That was gold. You're welcome.
I would think if you were going to bring Kelly Ripa on, because I kind of agree with you, Sam, that you would want a scene between her and Mark Consuelos to really give that maximum impact.
Yeah.
Just having her with just Jughead, fine, but it doesn't really pay
At
off.
least we got the egg.
There will be more. I think there will be more. Taylor James in the chat also
hope
says,
so.
I do agree the lodges should give up the drug business because they're kind of a huge target as long as Gladys is still in town. True. And I hope Gladys kills Hiram.
I mean, come on. Gladys and Hiram. Hiram could take her out in 2 seconds.
Do you think they've slept together before? They've all slept
Probably.
together before.
I feel like they all have.
Yeah.
It's true. That's
It's like
true.
a
Like,
scripted
everyone on this
Vanderpump
show
Rules.
has.
That one night in the bunker. That's gonna be...
Playing gargoyles. And
We found out what is the last episode or the episode before. We found out, you owe an enormous amount of sum to the buyer, and they're coming to town to collect it. So big that we just had to write it on a piece of paper. And we made fun of them just sliding that in. And then today, Hiram just like drops like $75,000. Like, you couldn't have told us that number before.
I liked when she's like, I'm good with that. And I was like, I'm good with that too. You announcing the amount
Yes.
instead of just like, we're very
I
secretive.
also thought 75,000 was a bit low for like a drug empire.
That's true.
Like,
That's true. Like, doesn't his car cost more than that? Like,
Yeah.
isn't that their whole thing?
They're very wealthy, it seems. $75,000 to them is, maybe a year's tuition to like a private school that they'll send Veronica to for college one day.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not-
she's going to public school. She's going to Riverdale. Like, what are you saving on that?
I don't know. I mean, obviously a lot, but apparently $75,000, a lot of money in Riverdale. Which again begs my question: when are we? Although I do know that the writing is just like not congruent, but I always like, what year is this? We don't really know what year
What
this is.
year is this?
I mean, it's somewhat modern. We have like Bumble promotions every
I
other
think
week.
it's supposed to be modern. It's like Sabrina, how she's got like, the phonograph and everything, but then everyone's on their laptops. It's just supposed to be like an allusion to when the kind of like a
comics
shout out, as like to the source material. It's like a little like, oh, here you go. This is when this came out, but it's adapted for a modern audience. I don't have a problem with that.
I want them to be stuck somewhere, like in a certain time, and they don't know.
That's the Flash. That's a different
They
CW
don't
show.
I know. It needs to have my own segments, like Sam's segment of crazy. Where did she go this episode? Where did that crazy mind go? And, that's where it went.
So you almost wanted it to be like The Village, where you see Archie stumbling out of the woods, and you realize that he's like in 2058. And
Exactly.
It's like, oh,
He's like,
really? I didn't realize it was this far along. But I guess Veronica really owes $150,000, right? 75 to Gladys and 75 to Hiram.
Yeah, it sounds like she really screwed herself in this situation because I'm like, it's the same amount. Now you owe it to two different people.
Yeah. Dip into that trust
She
fund.
doesn't seem worried at all.
No, she's
And her last robbery didn't go so she's not doing so hot in the money department.
But I'm also like, okay, Hiram, you should focus on the prison. One random high schooler busted in there, took all your stuff, walked out with it, and lit it on fire right outside the prison.
Yes.
Like, you need to focus up. Like, you're clearly not running this business very well. If Reggie can just be like, I'm taking all this stuff, and the security guard's like, yes.
I mean, if we're looking at the battle of wits and wills between Gladys and Hiram, certainly we know Mark Consuelos is series regular, but putting that aside, who do you have between Hiram and Gladys?
Like, if they're pitted against each other
Yeah.
directly to,
Yeah.
like, who's going to control the...
Yeah, who's going to outsmart who can outfox who?
Hiram.
I feel like Hiram...
But I'm a sucker for dimples, so I might not be the best character.
I don't know. I feel like ultimately there's just so many things against him at this point. Like, his family wants him out of this business. Gladys wants him out of this business. She's recruiting all of the other teenage
Ghoulies.
Teenage
Drugged
Ninja
out
Turtles,
teenagers.
gargoyles, in the town.
And yeah, I don't know. I feel like it would make sense for him to just refocus his energies on something else. I don't know why they're so like everyone really wants this seizure-inducing fizzle rock business.
like,
I'm
get a job. I mean, go work at a bank or something. Don't you think he could do that, maybe?
No, I don't think it'd be that extreme. I mean, he needs to like own something and like you know
Yes.
be the. I'm just like, I'm with Veronica. Focus on the prison. Like, if you have all of these people that you're literally saying, I mean, which is also, I think, a commentary on private prisons. I'm like, this is also pretty messed up because this also happens where it's like, we need a steady stream of prisoners. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Not a fake
They're like,
arrest.
it's legal, but also sucks for all those guys that you're about to arrest. Like,
Yep.
I'm like, no one's going to focus on that. They're like,
The chat is pretty strong on Gladys would win.
Really?
Yes.
All right. I mean, you don't want to mess up
Wow,
with Gina
okay.
Prashad, for sure.
I kind of agree. We also don't know what she's capable of. We just met her. We really know a lot of Hiram's tricks and his weaknesses, and he's already been shot once. So
yeah. And Gladys looks like she just walked out from backstage from an Aerosmith concert at all times, which
Oh,
just
yeah.
makes me like revere her.
yes, she probably has like weapons like tucked in her socks, her shoes, her boobs, like
Yeah.
everywhere.
Well, before we ever met her, and we always heard about, like, in the first season, we're like, oh, yeah, my mom and Jelly Bean, they left. I always kind of put them as, like, oh, they're really just nice and sweet, mom and daughter. And there might be a nice, sweet core to them, but they're not afraid to cut somebody.
No, Jelly Bean freaks me out. Honestly, she scares me.
Jelly Bean?
Yes,
Jelly Bean looks like she just came from the farm.
it looks like she's about to cut someone's like throat. Literally about to slit
Angry.
someone's throat.
I
got
feel like I'd
daddy
be pretty
issues.
angry if my name was Jelly Bean, too, so...
Well, when
At some point, you just gotta rock it and own it and be like,
when
Get an
FB
Instagram.
questioned her coffee, I was like, "Oh no, she's gonna kill him. She loves her coffee. Like she's about to pop off, and she doesn't have very many lines. It freaks me out. Just keep an eye on Jelly Bean.
So here's what I'm wondering, because, of course, Hiram's going to take the prison, but he says, I need a steady stream of prisoners, like you're saying, Alana. But those steady stream of prisoners would make me think it's going to come from the serpents / gargoyles / maybe a few ghoulies in there, which is then also going to take away from Gladys's need for suppliers to run all these drugs that she's going to be taking over.
I think that's why she wants the numbers. Like, she's like, it doesn't matter who we bring in, because we see that whole thing where Jughead was talking to JP, and he's like, you know, we can get the gargoyles to come in, and he's like, you know, or the ghoulies to come in, and he's like, no, like, they can't be tamed. He's like, no, that's the gargoyles. I don't need to worry about, like, we've got this other gang that, I don't know. It's so many gangs that then they find out that, like, Vern is the last remaining one. And it's this whole thing. Like, I was like, what? Like, when did that? It seems like that would have been common knowledge at this point.
Well, true, because we went from like the serpents and those big, I mean, I guess it's been a few episodes, but seeming in huge numbers, to now it's just Sweet Pea Fang, Jughead, and that's it pretty much.
And how do you quit the gang so easily? Isn't that the whole thing of like gangs? Is that like you can't quit once you're in instead of just being like, I don't feel like this anymore, bye.
Yeah, they get
I'm
tattoos.
gonna go work at Pops.
I'll give you a discount on a milkshake.
Yeah. I don't know.
I feel like Jughead is not playing it smart this time. I feel like he's letting, as much as he won't tell FB that, oh yeah, it was Gladys's idea. He's, no, it was mine. It was my idea the whole time. He's getting run by her.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
But it was kind of nice. I felt happy for Jughead in the moment where it was normalcy to have the four of them together in the trailer and they're all just kind of talking. You know, that must be nice for him to have his family back, and I'm sure it's easy to fall into a trap of wanting to believe like your new family that has kind of just come along, but it's not a good idea. And also people in the chat, it's like, don't remember Jelly Bean and her her slingshot.
Oh,
That's
yes.
true. I feel like we've all waited long enough. We should jump in because I know Zach is dying to talk about Archie.
I am.
Archie,
I've been daydreaming.
We saw Archie like he needs to punch something these days. So he gets
Himself
Mr.
in the
Keller.
face.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mr. Keller started training him for boxing, but he already wants a fight. Give me a fight. Give me a fight. Like, slow your roll, Archie. That seems Archie's biggest problem is he never learns how to slow his roll.
But at the same time, I'm like, okay, here's a little boy who fought a bear. Like, give this man, like, some credit. Like, he's like, you're not ready for your first fight. And he's like, I fought a bear, man.
He just
and
has to
I'm
open
here.
his shirt and show the mark.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, all right, whatever. I feel like at this point, if he's been training for
earned
this
a
long
fight.
with Keller, yeah, give him a fight. And also, if the whole thing is like, oh, you're going to lose your first fight, you're going to lose your first fight, I'm with you. Cool, I get paid $5,000 to lose my
Yeah.
first fight. Like, keep the money.
Yes.
I don't know.
Like, I don't even have to try hard. Like, sign me up for that paycheck.
Seriously.
I just didn't understand the inconsistency with that, where he's like, I'm going to give the money back. And they're like, can't give the money back. Any deviation. And this is like, this is it. This is it. And he's like, okay, I'm still going to give the money back and I'm going to deviate. Only now I'm going to get in the ring and potentially get killed. I'm like, what? If you're going to do this anyway, then just
Keep
don't
the money.
Either
Oh.
keep the
We
money
weren't
or
on the
don't
same
fight.
track there.
One or the other. Like, keep the money or don't fight. But don't just be like, I'm going to fight for free and maybe die.
Yeah.
Like, what? That's the dumbest choice, Archie. Like, no wonder you walked out of the SATs. You're like, right in, new, different crap answer. Like,
I really don't like that it was a girl. That the only reason he did change his mind was because of another
girl.
freaking girl. It's like the typical girl that gets her mind changed by a dude. She can't like decide anything for herself. It's Archie with women. I mean, if it wasn't for Josie, he would have just done it and not felt bad about it. But all of a sudden she's like, that's just like not hot.
That's all you're worth. I've been like, yes, I'm worth 5,000 and change.
Yes. I'd be like, yeah, I'm 17. $5,000 sounds about right.
It's more than I'm gonna make at Pops.
yeah. I'm like, mind your business, Josie. This
Right? Like, just sit there in the audience, cheer me on, and then act surprised when I lose.
I feel like Frank has a moral ground here, though. I feel like you're happy. No.
No,
Yeah.
no,
No.
because you should know like this fight was never going to end with Archie winning ever. Because if Elliot was smart enough to start making bets, he's going to make sure he's going to get the judges to go his way ultimately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
I
like
mean-
I was not surprised.
And you're not gonna
No.
like KO this killer.
That's
Where
true.
he's like, all right, this is your only chance. You better
No, I
knock him
really
out.
thought
And
that was
like,
gonna happen. I really thought Riverdale was gonna give us an Archie knockout. I was like, this is so predictable. I was like, oh, he didn't.
Well, just be kill him already. I mean, if it's like a bear, a fight, something. I don't know.
It was very Rocky-esque, where it was
Yeah.
like,
I felt
you
like I
didn't
was-
win, but you know, you won inside.
Have,
Your heart won.
have you guys seen Creed 2?
Yes.
So there are the scenes where he's fighting, then kind of imposed with Tessa Thompson singing, and I really felt that for this episode.
With Josie singing.
Yeah, with Josie singing.
I liked it to some degree,
No.
but then I was like, wait a minute, now she just walked in and she's still singing. This is,
Yeah.
alright, this is inconsistent. And she's in a totally different outfit. I'm like, what happened to the stars? You had time to change. If this was the whole thing, how come Archie couldn't play guitar first and then come fight.
I'm just like,
The times don't sync up. I'm like, all right, if you're about to die anyway, play guitar for your girlfriend, man. Like,
sing Eye of the Tiger already. That's all I have to say. I mean, honestly.
It was like at the end of it, they were both like, you won on the inside and you still have your dignity. It's like, no, he's got a jacked up face and no money. Like, he didn't win anything here. Like, his reputation is tanked.
you're
Thanks,
still poor
guys.
and your face is funky now. Good job.
Maybe not a popular opinion around this table, but I'm not a huge fan of that We Don't Need Another Hero song. Never really liked it. And so having it sung in here was just like, ugh. It was unpleasant montage to watch.
Well, I guess like the lyrics, they try to make them like sync up, and they probably were just like, it says Thunderdome, and like you don't have to do this. Like this is perfectly like this is what it is. But yeah, I was like, we could have had if they were gonna have like a Creed like Rocky-esque thing. I'm like, give me a different song. Like give me like an Eye of the Tiger, like slowed down or like something. Yeah, like if you sang it in a minor key instead of kind of make it creepier. And then have like these slow motion things, like a minor key Eye of the Tiger.
Tweet the writers.
Over that, with then like Betty running, like all of that. I think that would just make it so much more dramatic.
just got the chills.
Yeah, thank you. Hire me.
That's right. All right. I'm sure everybody's watching this. I'm sure there's somebody who's talented that you can make that little riff for and send it over to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it. Send it over.
Retweet.
Zach, do you have any other Archie issues you want to air right now?
Not with you guys, but with him all night.
I want to give a shout out to External Shockwave 3 in the chat that said, but laid Josie in the end. That's a win in my book. And then a lot of like,
No, it's
smiley face
not.
emojis.
No, and also,
like
what
the
kind of
worst
line
couple.
was that? Do you want to go get a milkshake at Pops, or do you have a better idea? And it's like, Josie, get it together. His face is all. Don't kiss that poor boy. It's gonna hurt.
And not just his face, but I'm sure his ribs and everything
Everything
just
about him.
sore.
Yeah, I'm like, you just literally got beaten up like a punching bag. Why are you gonna bang your girlfriend right now? Go get the milkshake again. Better option. Ugh.
All right. I mean, I just got to ask because I don't know. Like post fight, if you see a gentleman all beat up, he's got his Band-Aids on and all that stuff. Are you going to find that sexy? And like, yeah, we should get it on. You're like, no, we should just get you home and ice you down.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like regardless of injury, I just always choose the milkshake. So I'm not the one to ask.
No matter how hot you are, we get the milkshake first.
Yeah, I'm like, banging her milkshake. I'm like, milkshakes are delightful. I don't, no one's ever been let down by milkshake. I'm just saying.
That's true.
I'd want all of it. Milkshake, I would
I know
ice
Sam
him.
has a story
My
with the
milkshakes
milkshake.
bring all the boys to the yard.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
And they're like,
then
I
it would.
just got beat up. Please don't touch me. Sorry.
So we also have Betty. Her big dilemma right now is Alice is getting ready for a baptism, everybody. She's got to get her wedding dress fixed, make it look all pretty, which I'm glad because that original wedding dress was like,
That was
ooh.
rough. Yeah, and they're like, I think you look really pretty, Mom. I'm like, this is the biggest lie told on Riverdale thus far.
And I'm like, was she not a part of a cult before? Because that looks like a cult dress.
Yeah.
Short,
Yeah.
long cult dress. 100%.
The sleeves, like, it was just way too much with
It was
her
pretty
bangs.
when she like got it all altered and everything, but I was getting
No.
very like Sabrina vibes on that one too. It was like this dark baptism. I'm like, what is the deal with all of these like CW being like, baptisms will result in your immediate death? I'm like, that's not all right.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it would be a familiar trope amongst cults that you need to have some sort of rebirth. Whether it be
Right.
something as extreme as this, where they almost drowned you to bring you back, or some I'm watching it like General Hospital. They have somebody who has to watch the sunrise, and that gives you you're reborn by watching the sunrise from this particular tower. I'm like, okay, sure, that does it.
I mean, I'd rather watch a sunrise and be like, your daughter's gonna hold you underwater in this tiny little bathtub too. I was like, that's such a little tub. Like she could, I don't know.
And that was the worst that they had her daughter do it to her. Like, what?
I kept on being like, who is that chick with the short blonde hair? And it was freaking Polly.
It was
I
Polly.
just kept on forgetting about her and that she was there. And then she just, her hair's short now and she sucks. I mean, she's always,
She
Her
sucks.
hair's short now and she
She
sucks.
I mean, they don't have anything to do with each other. Maybe they do. I don't know. But yeah, I just was like, who's this lady? Because, there's the red-haired girl. What's her name again?
Evelyn?
The worst.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say
Evelyn.
that.
And then we have another Evelyn, which is Polly, and it just sucks because we started with her with this mystery with Jason Blossom, and it was fascinating, and we had so many cool stories from her. And then she was taken to the farm, and apparently she's never been the same.
to me, what sucked even harder was Kevin being like, "Oh no, there's some like cute dudes at the farm." I was like, "What?"
They
Kevin's my
ruined
favorite.
Kevin's character with
Yeah.
that. He had such a moment in the last episode where like he was finding himself and like, you know, trying to be a teenager, and then like he's going to the farm because they have boys that he can hook up with. I'm like, get back
farm
on
and
Bumble.
farmersonly.com are two different things,
Yeah.
man. Like,
You're not.
don't-
That's not the type of farmer you're gonna be finding at the farm.
I mean, do you guys?
But then again, if you find Chad Michael Murray, I may be down for it, you guys. I may need to get baptized.
I'm right there with you on that one. But do you think that maybe it's the farm that's behind everything that takes things away from certain people, whether it's people that they love or just does terrible things, and so they think that there's nothing left for them except for this community that apparently is just about love, acceptance, and being happy and healthy. I mean, that's how cult people get it. So maybe the farm is behind all of the crap that's been going on in Riverdale.
I mean, apparently they're wiretapping phones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the farm definitely has a greater reach than is kind of being led on now. But also, talking about people making bad decisions, like Betty calling all of the escapees
on the phone.
on the phone, and then
Leaving
I'm also
voicemails.
Like, yeah, and then they're like, "Oh, well, we don't want them to know where we're meeting. Let me tell you exactly where we're meeting."
Yes.
And also, like, how fast can you get to Riverdale? I'd be like, you called me. Like, you can come to
Right?
my house. That like, you can come somewhere near me. And also, not just, like, freak out after I say 2 words and leave me in a bunker.
That was the stupidest thing where she gets that information and leaves without getting anything
Anything
else.
Anything
else.
else. Like, I was like, aren't you an investigative reporter? Like, who is like, oh, yeah, this is a good story. Bye. I'm going to go write this part. I'll be late.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's something that Taylor James said in the chat before our show started, and said that someone said on Tumblr that a possible plot twist could be Polly doing all of this, recruiting her mother to the farm to get back at Alice for sending her to the sisters in the first place.
Oh, that's dark.
I've always thought Polly was evil. Do you remember first season? I was like, Polly's evil. Polly's doing it. She's doing everything.
Is it just because of the black wig, though?
No, that's Betty.
That was bad.
That was her as Polly.
Yes.
She put on the black wig when she was like, "This is my dark alter ego," and I'm like, "Is Polly really that bad, or are you just wearing a black wig and calling yourself your sister's name?"
Yeah, and then Polly's gonna pull zombie Jason Blossom out of the swamp, and then they're just gonna go on and have like a lovely life together.
And then they're gonna be a Swamp Thing spinoff. And
Afterlife in the swamp.
Perfect. Perfect.
Swamp people.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll find out for the course of the rest of the season. It seems like they're building it up as the farm is going to be a major player. And then we'll see where the farm crosses over with gargoyles and griffins and gargoyles.
And
Meanwhile, I'm just like-
Hiram somehow.
what are they planting on this farm? I haven't seen any sort of like crops or anything.
I just hope it's marijuana. You know,
Just
everyone
farming
could use
souls.
it.
Yeah, I feel like everybody in here could use a little joint.
Yeah.
No, they can't have anything that's a real thing. It has to be like some sort of
Has to be
slightly
23-hour
different-
fitness.
23-hour fitness. I was like, what hour is it not open? I would be so mad. I was like, this is my
The
lunch
1
break.
hour
It's the
you
only
run.
hour I have. You're like, sorry, it's 23-hour fitness. 24-hour fitness is down the road.
We're on break.
Yeah, I have no idea where this season's going to go. But before we hop into our next topic, though, just want to tell you folks that thank you so much for watching all the shows and helping us make us become the ESPN of TV Talk. But we also need your help, so we're asking that you please subscribe to our YouTube channel or give us a 5-star rating on iTunes as well, because doing that will help us continue to grow, so we really appreciate that. We all love doing AfterBuzz, and we really appreciate you supporting us and doing what we love, so continue to engage us, respond to the comments, and keep enjoying our shows. Yeah. There you go. I stumbled through that, guys. That was like a true professional.
I thought that was great.
Don't say that, Elena. I didn't do it. I fumbled my words.
You did great. If you were in the ring with Archie with that verbal battle,
Oh, that's right. Oh,
I would have
baby.
declared you
You're
the winner.
still a winner
I
in
would've-
your heart.
Oh, yes!
Yeah!
I would have hopefully wouldn't have gone to the cards. I would have been worried if it had gone to the judges. Well, getting ready to class. Why don't we do class president, class clown?
Wait, one thing though.
yes.
Sorry, I think we might have missed. Tony, Cheryl.
Oh,
Oh yeah, the pretty
Anything to
poisons
say, pretty
and the smackdown.
poisons?
I would
Yum.
100% join the gang that teaches you how to be a badass archer, because any gang battle that they're like, get out your bows.
That's
a
true.
gang battle that
Yes.
I want to be a part of. I'm like, that is very like old school.
Now, who do you side with? Do you
fun
side with
trade.
Cheryl or Tony? And the fact that Cheryl decided to prove that the pretty poisons were tough people in their own right. So she sends them out to beat up Sweet Pea and Fang. But Tony says, no, this is my gang, right? So
Yeah.
you don't play them. So Cheryl gave this to Tony. So it should be Tony running this, right? Or do you agree with Cheryl's like,
No, I
we're
agree
buddies,
with Cheryl.
you agree with Cheryl?
I agree with Cheryl. I think if you're going to run a gang and you have all this competition, then you need to show them who's boss. Especially if you're the woman and you're the one running the gang. Like, then all the boys are going to be like, oh, we can take down that girl gang with her red hair and her red lipstick. Scratch my jock.
But do you think, but should Cheryl have at least let Tony know?
I mean,
Yes.
she should have let Tony know. I get that, but it was a total power move. And, like, what is Tony doing? Like, having an after-school group with the girls? Like, we're doing archery. Like, get it together. If you're going to run a gang, you need to make power moves, and I'm all in support of Cheryl.
As Cheryl said repeatedly, we're not to be trifled with.
That's right.
Which is the most dramatic way to be like,
As
don't
I
mess
paint
with me.
my nails.
I'm like Team Tony on this one though,
too.
because I'm like, if this is supposed to be your gang and you're the one saying, look, I'm telling you what happened with Jughead. He wants me back in the Serpents. I said no, even though that's what I've always wanted because I'm loyal to this gang that you gave to me. And the reason is because I'm the leader. Then taking her leadership away from her is completely undermining her.
See, but that's too much emotional integrity for a gang in Riverdale. Like, you're competing with the gargoyles and the ghoulies.
And the Griffins.
And the Griffins.
I'm like, where's the Griffins? The Griffins in this, they're like, don't forget the Griffins exist,
And the
but we don't have
Slytherins
time
and the-
for
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Well, when Tony described it as like, this is about protection and community.
Yeah.
When she said community, I just think, oh, they're just throwing like bingo parties or whatever
Exactly,
like that. That's what I
after-school
kept on thinking.
program.
It just seemed like really kind of watered down. Like, this doesn't seem so tough, does it?
Yeah, I mean, when the
Exactly.
guys are like calling them a sorority and they're getting all mad, and then they're like, but here are all of our sorority values. I'm like, well, yeah, that's,
Yeah,
I can understand why they'd be like, what have you done thus
Not
far
intimidated.
besides bedazzle matching jackets and be like, we're a girl gang, archery, at school, like,
Girl power.
The scene between Tony and Jughead, she's so close to switching over back to the Serpents. And I don't think that Betty should be the Serpent Queen.
Cheryl.
No, Betty.
no, Betty
Betty.
is the serpent queen. That's why
Betty,
Tony was
I'm
like,
thinking
I want to come
Poisons,
back
yeah.
because I
Yeah.
want to be queen. I'm legacy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I mean, Betty has barely been a serpent, and I think Betty would gladly step down also.
Yeah, Betty can't be bothered. She's like too busy like trying to survive her parents.
Yeah, she doesn't give a shit.
It's all a communication thing where I'm
Yeah.
like, look, just ask your girlfriend. Be like, Tony, I'm not going to hook up with her, but she needs to be queen. It's like when you're prom king and queen, you're not necessarily
Yeah.
dating each other, which would also like be more relevant for a high school scenario than a gang
She's
king and
still
queen.
the
but
queen of his heart.
it's like, I feel like Betty would have been like, all right, I'm trying to get my mom not to be murdered
Drowned
by
by
my
my
sister.
sister.
Yeah, so if she wants to be queen, that's fine.
I have a lot on my plate at the moment, just
I think
sure.
ultimately, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'll wait until we get into predictions for all of that, but
Well, because whenever it was brought up that Betty like was going to be the Serpent Queen, I thought it was like between a boyfriend and girlfriend, kind of just having talk between them. It wasn't like a really serious title. So for them to say like, Betty's really the Serpent Queen, I'm like, really?
yeah, I'm like Betty Cooper. She still has her ponytail and is like wearing sweater vests. Like,
She helps the serpents, but I don't know if she's really the queen. I don't know if she considers herself
She's
the
a
queen.
nice assistant.
Does she even have a tattoo?
Nope.
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 BS. BS. Sorry. But back to our special
Oh
segment.
yes, but I also did like the fight,
deviate.
the sound effects for the fight between Sweet Pea and Fang and the Pretty Poisons.
Oh, gosh,
there was
the,
a lot of punches
punching.
before we got to the ow hey. It was
Yeah.
like, it was just like, or they
I'm
just
also
like,
like, why is Sweet Pea and Fang? They're the like nice ones. Like, why are you going after specifically these two guys? If anyone's gonna quit the Serpents, why is it the two guys that are always getting their butts kicked by everybody?
Oh, I didn't feel bad for them. I felt they needed to have more respect. Like, excuse me, just because they're women doesn't mean they're not a threat. It made me like them less. They were mocking them. Did not enjoy that.
I mean, I feel like they just had that so it would be justifiable that these girls would then go and
Assault
kick
them.
their
Beat them
bad
up, yeah.
butts. Yeah, because I'm like, they've had Jughead's back this whole time. Like, they hung out with a dead body for weeks on end.
Yeah.
Like, give these boys some respect too, a little bit. Like, if you're gonna hang out with a rotting body.
What better transition than to do a class president,
Rotting
class
body.
clown? Zach, who do you? Thank you,
look at
John. Who do you have as class president and class clown?
Class clown is definitely going to Archie. Because, like, can you just not be the hero? Can you just not be, like, just get off your high horse for a minute. Do like math, study your SATs, like just do something normal that a teenager does, and don't like try to fight somebody and like turn down a $5,000 paycheck because you have dignity.
But when he says like I walked out of my SATs, there's got to be another SAT
You
test
can
somewhere.
retake them.
And like you can retake the SATs. They keep talking about that. Like it's fine,
Like
man.
it's the
like,
end
I
of
think
his
I
future.
did it like 3 times, to be honest with you guys.
Math.
Yeah.
Yes, me too. Science, math.
I had to keep retaking it because my dad wanted me to get over 1,500, and I was like, "Joke's on you, Dad. Now my degrees mean nothing. I'm doing this."
Oh my gosh. But yeah, like it's not running down the SATs is not the end of like his whole future. He's what, 16, 17 years old. He doesn't need to be, getting himself beaten up at a boxing ring, an underground boxing ring.
And for him to say he was an ex-con, like you were in juvie, so that's not going to follow you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
No.
But, oh well.
He's just
And you
too
have a great
dramatic.
college essay. The time I was attacked by a bear, immediately got up and went back to high
I
school.
survived.
Who's your class
Being
president?
hunted down by a drug empire. My class president will probably have to be. I don't know if I really have one this week. I'm gonna give it to. I guess I'll give it to Hiram because I think he was smart enough. He was smarter than his wife and his daughter, and he knew what was really going on, even though he had gotten shot. Like he knew what was up, and I think he's already plotting his takedown of Gladys.
All right.
I think he's going to be the victorious one in that duo.
I would say my class clown is the unnamed escapee who just showed up at Riverdale
In a bunker.
went to a random teenager's bunker and felt that all of that was a good idea after her sister was apparently murdered by this farm. Just decided to come back to their like stomping grounds and hang out in a bunker. That's why we don't know your name. We know your drowned sister's name.
Yeah, let's say.
You're unnamed escapee. So, I mean, even though everybody made poor decisions, I think this episode.
Yeah.
I would say class president Gladys probably because I feel like she's pulling a bunch of strings here. Like she seems to be on top of
Making moves.
everything. Yeah, she's like making money moves. She's got like her plan Bs, all of these other kind of safety nets that she's putting into place.
I think she's going to fall, though. I think she's going to fall hard.
Maybe.
So for me, my class clown, Polly Schmolly. And I just feel betrayed because the actress Tiara, she came in first season. We love her. Sweetest, nicest girl in the
Great.
entire world. And I'm just like, who are you? I thought I knew you, Polly. But no one ever knows Polly, so she sucks. I'm very disappointed in her. And my class president would be Tony, because I really loved her putting Jughead in his place. Excuse me, if you don't give me what I want, this is what I deserve, blah, blah, blah. And he was just sitting there like a fool, and he knew she was right. So that's what I think.
She was big on words, but poor on execution.
Well,
I'll give you that.
we'll see about that.
Yeah, all right.
Come see about
I'll go with Archie as for her class clown because the guy he jumps into everything so fast and then realizes like, oh, I was a dummy. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah,
that's the entire
testosterone, you know.
Yes.
Got a lot of it right now.
I was tossed between Gladys and Hiram for class president, but I felt like that negotiation between Gladys and Hiram, I felt like Gladys was not so smooth when she said, well, Hiram, I guess I'm going to have to tell you. I was like,
Yeah.
you're not as smooth as Hiram would be. So I feel like
Yeah.
I'm going to give the edge to Hiram.
Oh, what? We agree?
Yes.
Completely?
That's it. We're in
Wow.
sync, Zach.
Just like the judges of the boxing match.
That's
This was
right.
very
This
split.
is rigged. Hiram paid us.
That's right. All right, folks, we got some hot news and gossip. I know that Sam controlling the news feeds.
Get it.
So the spin-off that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, is it Katie Keene?
Katie Keene.
Katie Keene. Yes, they just added 2 official new cast members. Camille Hyde, who was on American Vandal, which I loved that show.
American Vandal
She
was so good.
First season, she was very funny. I really, really like her. And also Lucien Laviscount, who was on Scream Queens. I believe he was one of the frat boys in in the first season, and
I
he's
loved that show.
Yes, I loved that show. He was very attractive, and they're casting very regularly. Elena, you said you've got a casting for that, right?
They have like casting notices all over the place right now for it. Katie Kane.
Yep, it's gonna be. We're
I
gonna
don't know
be.
why I have to say it like that.
Katie
Every time, like,
Kane.
Katie Kane.
We'll see
figuring
Elena
out
there
the
next
casting.
season then.
There you go.
I'm not auditioning. I didn't respond to it. I just saw that it was there.
She has dignity.
Well, Roberto, this is Elena's audition. Okay.
Yeah. Punch me in the face. I'm Archie. How was that?
Well, if you real quick, if you go to E! News, there's a interview that they did with KJ Appa talking about will Archie ever get a break? And real quick, he said, this is a kind of an alternate universe that we're in right now because I fought a bear, so there's really nowhere they can't go with this show. So
Archie may not get a break, but his nose did.
oh, there you go.
And of course, Chad Michael Murray is going to be on the show playing the cult
Yes, Edgar
King.
Evan Ever.
Edgar. And I'm, it's the first time I'm like, the farm sounds nice to me. So
I know, that was the only thing, though, that I was like,
Sign me
wait,
up.
there's no pictures of Edgar anywhere? Because if his face is Chad Michael Murray, you'd have a lot more people joining the farm if you would post his picture online, I'm just saying.
and like I understand Kevin, running towards there. So yeah.
Real quick, as we're wrapping up here, super fast predictions from all of us.
Your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
What do you got, Zach?
I think that Gladys is gonna fall, Hiram's gonna reclaim his empire, and Archie's just gonna do more really stupid stuff this season.
With his shirt off.
With his shirt off and sweaty, and I hope that him and Josie break up.
All right.
Yeah, I think probably they're going to have some issues with the gargoyles because that's been kind of teased a little bit, and that will be Gladys's downfall ultimately, and that what's going to sink everything together is recruiting the pretty poisons to the serpents and being like, all right, equality, yeah, we respect you now, but now we have multiple jackets.
I think Jelly Bean will be scary. She doesn't say much, but she, has a slingshot and just a very aggressive demeanor, I think. So I'm excited to see that. I'm also excited to see, hopefully, I just want to say Marisol. Not Marisol. What's the character on the show?
Hermione.
Hermione. I'm sorry, you guys. Hermione, she's going to come back and hopefully kick some ass and put Hiram in his place. And I want to see her master plan once and for all come through. And hopefully I think Veronica and Archie are going to at least have another rendezvous.
Yeah, there you go.
Hope so.
I predict some of these predictions we'll find out some answers next episode. There you go.
Look at you.
Yes, I did like real quick for the gargoyles. I was talking about that. They now shot out with Apocalypse Now with Kurtz, and they see him kind of shot like Marlon Brando-esque. We only see like half his face in the shadows. Always nice from Riverdale. There's a little shout out to other films. But
And the
folks,
San Junipero reference, I like that.
there you go.
So shout out to
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror.
that's going to do it for this episode of the Riverdale After Show. We made it back even after 3 weeks. Yeah! We still can deliver a quality show. Maybe. So, like us on Facebook, give us 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and thank you everybody for hopping in the chat. Sam will be reading these with a nice glass of Merlot later on this evening as she rewatches the episode. But until then, folks, if you want to get in touch with any of us after the show, Zach, where can they find you?
Hi guys, I'm Zach Peter. You can follow me at Just Plain Zach.
I'm Elena Jordan. You can follow me on Twitter at Elena Jordan and on Instagram at Elena J. Jordan. And I won't be here next week.
What?
But I'll be back after that.
Yay!
And you guys can find me, Sam Davidson, at SamD43 on Twitter and Instagram, and SamDavidsonEntertainment.com.
And follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie. Folks, that's going to do it for this episode of the Riverdale After Show. We'll see you back here next Wednesday night for another episode right here on AfterBuzz TV.
Bye.
Go fight a bear, everybody.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.